welcome back again. This final part of this really, well, personally for myself, enjoyable series where me and Nick have obviously picked all these players and built these franchises with a lot of freedom, obviously, in how we made our picks, and we've obviously simulated them to the point of the playoffs. Giannis was MVP, as we covered in the last video, and we are now at the playoffs. Obviously, the Rockets finished first in the West, headlined by Luka and LeBron, followed closely by the Sacramento Kings with Steph Curry and Jokic. In the East, we had the Magic finish first with that fairly young team with Jason Tatum and Embiid, and the Detroit Pistons a few games behind them, with obviously Giannis and KD as the core members of that team. Now, I guess if I had been more smart about this, I might have captured some video as I simmed through all the rounds of the playoff. But you've got a moment here to make your picks on who's going to go through to the finals before I obviously jump to the next slide. So, did you guess this correct? Well, let's have a quick look at a few of these brackets first, I guess. We had the Rockets obviously take out the Portland Trailblazers, and the Lakers 4-1 on the Memphis Grizzlies. The Minnesota Timberwolves in that grudge match, Rudy Gobert versus Donovan Mitchell. T-Wolves came through with extra depth, probably not that surprising in the third seed there. Sacramento, obviously, again in a close 7-game series, which probably makes sense against the talent that the Lakers has, straight through in 7 games there. Obviously, then jumping to the second round in the West here, Houston Rockets took out the Lakers fairly comfortably. Obviously, that's LeBron and AD against the old club, effectively. And then a huge upset, effectively, in this second round here. The Timberwolves have won in 7 games over the Sacramento Kings. A little bit disappointed there, considering that was the highest payroll out of the 4 teams there. Feels like some trades or some moves need to be made here to continue to make that group a little bit better. Then obviously in the West here, in the West Finals here, we got the Houston Rockets versus the Timberwolves, which obviously that's Nick's team, and the Rockets came through 4-1. So that was probably not too surprising. And obviously the Rockets in through to the finals. Obviously jumping across to the East here, we've got the Magic in the Bucks in the first round. That was a competitive 6-game series. Bulls pretty much took control over the Raptors there 4-1. We've got Brooklyn obviously taking out Philly. So obviously Kyrie has outplayed James Harden there by the looks of it 4-1. And then we've got Detroit taking out the Knicks 4-1. So at least they didn't get swept, I guess. Good on them. Unlike the Bulls in the second round, 4-0, that sort of looks like a fairly straightforward series there, I guess, for the Magic. And then Kyrie again taking the Pistons to 6 games there, but the Pistons ultimately going through, which then leads to this Eastern Conference final, which on paper probably could have or should have been maybe a little bit closer, but I guess a 5-game win there to the Orlando Magic sets them up obviously into the NBA Finals here, which is a Magic Rockets final, which is a deja vu of the 1994 matchup. So I did run, I don't even know what it's called right now. Is it the Gamecast simulation on each of the games in these finals? So I will cue the video and let game 1 run. Let's see who comes out on top. Were you as excited as I was watching that simulation? What a game one for this NBA Finals, right? 1 point in it. In regulation, Magic 116 to the Rockets 115. Obviously, couldn't be closer than that. Can't complain that my team came out on top and, got the first game under my belt there against Nick's Western Conference team. You can see here on the box score here, a familiar sort of formula that hasn't worked so well for Luka. He's done a lot of scoring and hasn't had enough support to get the W. Obviously, Luka with 43 points, but only 5 from 9 from the free throw line. That was ultimately a little bit costly there. And Ingram stepping up in a 24-point night. AD double-double. LeBron with a double-double, even though he didn't score that much, nearly a triple-double actually. And then obviously in the Magic here, we've got 4 players, ultimately the depth that they sort of play exhibited all season. 4 players in to the 20-point night. So obviously getting them that 1-point win in this game one of the NBA Finals. Let's jump over to game 2 now. Obviously, games 1 and games 2 were both at the Orlando Magic. All right, game 2 in Orlando. The Magic here have a bit of a blowout. 22 points victors. A hot first quarter and second quarter basically gave them a significant lead, 18 points at halftime. And they just kept it going from there. Having a look at this box score here. Once again, the Rockets had a big night from Luka, double-double actually, 28 and 11 assists. Made all his free throws tonight, but again, there still wasn't enough there. That AD with 20 points, LeBron again nearly a triple-double. Anthony Edwards getting onto the box score there, but not shooting that well. Just didn't have enough depth to once again counter 3 players with 20 points or more for the Orlando Magic. Tatum with a bit of a quiet night, and Bam Adebayo jumping into the box score there with 11 points as well. And that means obviously the Magic then head on the road here with a 2-0 lead going to game 3. This is a must win, right, for the Houston Rockets. Game 3 is in the books, and we have the Rockets fans crying on their way home with another blowout. What's gone on, 2K? I've been running season simulation since, I don't know, what was the first 2K play? 2K 2000 or something, or maybe that was NBA Live. I don't know. I've been playing these games for too long. But again, the Orlando Magic, again had a great start in the first and second quarters. Again, looking at the quick maths here, 19-point lead at halftime, and they've run away with this one here, 27-point victors in Game 3, and a critical Game 3, obviously now, 3-0 up. Without Nick here, I need you to come here and give me some stats there, some fun facts. But I believe no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA Finals. And I guess, we're looking at the box scores here. Three players again in the 20 points, having a 20-point night for the Orlando Magic. That's happened all 3 games, I think, at least. So at least 3 players in 20 points, and with fairly good shooting percentages too. That's really seems like the key factor here. We're obviously going to the Rockets here, although they've had players, put up points. They haven't really shot as well as the Magic. Luka again hitting the box score there. AD again with a double-double. LeBron with 18 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and Mikal Bridges jumping into the top 4 scorers there too. But it seems like they need more. They seems like they need more than Anthony Edwards shooting 0 from 6 from 3, and I don't know if they're going to find it or not, but I guess we'll find out in Game 4. And the series stays alive. Well done to the Houston Rockets taking out Game 4 here. Again, the last 3 games haven't been really close. 31-point win here. Must-win game to, bit of pride and save some face there in a sense to, not get swept. Rockets obviously did have a hot first half. Seems like that's the critical point in any basketball game, right? If you come out with a nice little bit of a lead, doesn't hurt your cause here. By the end of the third quarter, it looks like they've got a 20-point lead or so. So the game was pretty much over at that point. And Embiid, 20-9 for the Magic. It was probably inevitable that they started to shoot poorly at some point. Lonzo Ball 4 from 17, and Tatum 5 from 14. They just wasn't their night to close out this series by the looks of it. Ingram had a hot night, and two players for the Rockets in 20-point territory. Luka once again has been the most consistent player throughout this series by the looks of it, and Anthony Edwards bouncing back from that poor game, 19 points on 50% shooting. AD and LeBron all sort of rounding out those stats there for this Game 4. I did have a chance to have a bit of a look between Games 3 and 4 about which was the first year that 2K put out, and that was in 1999. So I will proudly say that I guess I've been simulating 2K box scores all season long into the finals for the last 22 years. Let's have a look at Game 5. we have won our first NBA championship. I feel there's a little bit of unintended bias here, as if you've watched a few of our podcasts, that I am an Orlando Magic fan. And I had explained I'd picked the two worst teams, obviously, in or each conference, and clearly the Magic have been the worst team for a while now in the East. And I guess I can't complain that my picks here have taken the Magic in this simulation with Nick to a championship, 4-point win here in Game 5. At least it was a close one, but it ultimately, again, the Magic, having a look at this box score, 3 players with 20 points seems like a winning formula when you've got that sort of depth there, and they're all shooting fairly great percentages. Tatum 8 from 11. That's a good shooting night. Can't shoot much better than that. And then you got Adebayo with a double-double, and Embiid rounding it out with a 15 and 9 night. Just too much depth clearly in this series. Luka again heading the box score there for the Rockets, but not enough once again. LeBron bouncing back with a near triple-double here in this elimination game. But AD double-double, and Ingram and Lou Dort making appearance there with 9 points. Just wasn't enough. So it's funny here, Nick, when I shared this with Nick, he asked me to consider running additional simulations. I'm not sure. How many do you want me to run, Nick? 10? Or was it 100 to get the law of averages, which team was the best team here? So I know you guys all love it. If you got to this point already, let's have a look at some stats. Luka clearly was a dominating force there for the Rockets, but had very little support. 3 players literally averaged 20 points a game for the Orlando Magic. And obviously Embiid averaged that double-double there, 21 and 10 rebounds, along with nearly 4 assists a game. And 2 blocks as well, so making himself felt in the paint there. AD rounded out the top 5 here with 18 points and 10 rebounds. Had a solid series, but once again, not enough. And if we jump over to the remaining players here, Lonzo Ball obviously played a key factor here with the Magic closing out the series. 7 of the top 10 scorers obviously were from the Magic. LeBron, Ingram, Adebayo, and Siakam with 10 points a game. Round out the top 10 scorers for these final series, which you probably have figured by now by looking at the stats. We have a finals MVP for Joel Embiid. Definitely a happy man, no doubt. Overjoyed by the look of this. And I guess, that concludes this simulation for these new franchises that myself and Nick have picked. The Orlando Magic and my team in the Eastern Conference have been crowned the NBA champions. Good try, Nick.